Hi there, I'm personal stylist and style expert Noelle Cellini. In this video, I wanted to talk about scarves and some things that I seem to always notice every time I go to Europe. And I'm bringing this up because usually places like Paris and Italy are places we think of, as setting a style example and style inspiration, whereas in the US, we tend to be a little bit more on the matchy-matchy side and maybe don't feel as always, tailored and as chic as the European. So there are a couple things that I've noticed every time I go to Europe when it comes to scarves. Now, the first one is that they don't really ever do a solid scarf, whether it's men or women. I don't know that I've ever seen anybody in a solid scarf. So instead of doing, and I'll show you some examples of this as well, but instead of doing something like this black and white striped top, whereas a lot of times I feel like in the States I would see somebody or I'd say, what do you wear this with, when I'm going through somebody's wardrobe, and they might say, oh, well, I wear this with a red scarf or a hot pink or something like that. And that's fine, but again, like I said, they don't really do, and I'll show you what to do instead, they don't really ever do a solid scarf. Now, as a side note, I do still have solid scarves, and I do have a black solid scarf that I do wear a lot. So this is not to get rid of your solid scarves, just to kind of, again, so a little bit more advanced when we're talking about mixing and matching and putting outfits together that just aren't so predictable and aren't so what we're come to expect. It's expanding a little bit our mix and match capabilities. So what I kind of noticed when I looked at my wardrobe is that I really have two kind of go-to scarves that are not the solid ones and I bring every time I go to Europe. So there must be a reason why, feeling they're a little more, European and kind of stylish. And the first one has definitely, so it's kind of a more brighter colors, so kind of those like hot pinks and things like that, and kind of the reds, and I tend to look really good in cool tones, so cool, the winter colors, so things like cobalt and fuchsia and a true red. So that I noticed that I wear this a lot, and it's just kind of a nice subtle pattern, but it has black, so it goes with a lot of stuff. And then the other one, and I got it in Europe, no surprise, and then the other one is kind of has these colors of kind of like a muted purple and some, bright greens, but it's kind of some like a rust color here, and again, kind of this, it's maybe a little bit hard to see, it's a little bit transparent on here because it's not a super opaque scarf, but again, kind of these muted purples. So I will wear bright colors, and then like this sweater, and then I'll wear this scarf with it, and then as my kind of one really go-to pattern scarf, and then I will wear a lot of these other, this is a different sweater that is a little more of that kind of muted purple or whatever you want to call it, and this again looks really great with it, plays well off of it, but it isn't, again, it isn't matchy. And this is something else too with, I notice with a lot of European fashions, it's the same thing, and I've talked about this a little bit before, when you're looking to go beyond just the black, white, and navy and brown and things like that in denim, is that they tend to wear a lot of times, men and women, more than just the black, white, navy, and brown in denim. So things like this, like sage green, so this will go really well with it, and it isn't just those typical neutrals, which are totally fine, but again, we're trying to kind of mix it up and maybe pull together outfits that are a little bit more chic. And same thing, this is kind of it looks kind of maybe a little bit different on film, but it's a bluish kind of gray, and same thing, that goes really nicely together with that, and then even that scarf. So the idea that, again, we're kind of reaching out beyond just, like I said, the black, white, the denim, the navy, and the brown. So something like this, so it's staying away from a solid scarf, they might do something like this black and white striped top, and then instead of doing just the solid scarf, so red, or instead of just doing like a pink scarf on it, which is totally fine, but we're gonna change it up a little bit. I would do our just subtle pattern one. And again, it's not like a circus, it's not so like garish or anything like that, but it's still kind of got those bright vivid colors of like very saturated black and white, and then reds and yellows and a purple in here. And again, it's a little more not as predictable as like just one pop of color in that solid scarf that they really don't do a lot. Here is another top as an example, and actually I bring this pretty much every time I go to Europe because it's nice and lightweight. It has 3/4 length sleeve. May not seem super exciting, and it's a neutral. It's kind of like a very light gray with kind of some gold thread going through it. But same thing, I can wear it with this scarf, and so it isn't, like I said, it isn't just this and just a solid scarf, which can be a little bit boring. I can wear it with these pants. Jeans would work too, but again, trying just to, I could wear it with the olive, and either or again, and then this would be a nice way to bring it all together. So if you can see that that's not, like I said, not as, it isn't always just relying on a solid scarf. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about too is, so again, when I was bringing up those neutrals, here's something else. I bought these pants. These are from Athleta. So, you know, usually kind of like workout stuff, or kind of stuff that isn't exactly workout stuff, but a little more casual. So these are very lightweight. They're not yoga pants. They're just, they're ankle. But I like them because they're this kind of burnt red, kind of maybe like burnt sienna. And same thing, I can wear not just white or chambray or something. I can wear like a grayish top with it. And same thing, I can do, if you can see, this with it, and it wouldn't be so, again, so predictable. And it's kind of built on those different neutrals that I was talking about, kind of like sage and moss and burnt sienna and that blue gray and those kind of colors. Now, the other thing is that I notice when going to Europe. Oh, and as a side note, I pulled this out when I was pulling examples for this video, but this is actually my winter coat, my main like go-to winter coat, and it is a dark green, and it's got a little bit of a subtle pattern. Yes, it has a thing of gold at the bottom, but this is what I wear. If I'm not wearing a black coat, I'm wearing this. So it doesn't always have to be, our clothes don't always have to be so simple and so basic. And then for a black coat, I have this one, and it's black, but it has a mix of textures in it. So that's nice because, so even though it's a neutral and it's dark and it's a solid, it's a play on textures. So it isn't always just like a navy coat or a black coat. It can be, and still be as versatile, something in a pattern and then something with some texture. So that's a way to kind of change things up if you feel like you already have the basics and you're looking, you know, how to add some other things, or if you don't want things that are just so simple. Now, the other thing I noticed, aside from them not wearing just a solid scarf, is that they also, and I remember I have this in a video from a long time ago, but I thought it would be good to bring it up. My French friend, this is just something she just kind of knew, and she didn't even know that she knew it, but to people like myself who are not European or born in Europe, I had to take note and become aware that she was doing that, whereas for her it was just second nature. And what I'm referring to is that if they were to have a scarf, so say something like this one, and instead of putting it on, and it might be, and just like this, where the ends are square where they're straight across, what she would do, again, just automatically, just maybe being French, she knew it, she would take it, instead of the ends being square, just cut straight across and then looping it around your neck, or looping it however you're going to loop it. She would take the end and go like this. Instead of it being square, it would be like this. So this would create, and this is already a longer scarf, but this would create a nice kind of long, it's a little bit longer, big scarf, but it would create this nice long waterfall effect, and a little bit, again, a little bit more effortless and not so straight across. And then the tie that I always do that everybody loves, and it looks different on everybody, is once you loop it around your neck, and the ends don't have to be the same length, but take an end from either side, it doesn't matter which end, take it and do it like you're gonna start tying your shoes, and just pull it up till you fill in this space. And let me try that again, just let's see here so I don't create a bubble, and just pull it up, and that creates a really nice look that is just a little bit more than doing it one loop around and letting it hang. And again, this is another scarf I bought in Europe too, but again, these are kind of my colors. So anyway, so hopefully that will give you some ideas of what to look for if you're looking to mix and match, and not always have it be, you know, black, white, and red, or navy, white, and lime green. It's okay to mix with different neutrals. It's okay to mix different prints. It doesn't always have to be, again, a solid, but again, a solid scarf is totally fine. So if you liked this video and found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up if you're watching it on YouTube, and of course let me know your questions. I would be so happy to answer them in the next video, and thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.